Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. You know exactly what today is. It's Tuesday, and welcome to another episode of your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. Be Live, episode 239? Or did I skip a number? Okay.
Oh, yeah, 230, I think. You know what? We'll figure it out by the time we produce.
You know what? I think it is 239. I think it is 239. Welcome to episode 239, if not 238. But just understand this: the next episode will be 240. Here I am, the king of incoherent rambling. My name is Eddy, the host and the HOC here at the Sports Bros Podcast. And of course, you know I can't do it by myself. I tried, and it just wasn't that fun because it's more fun when you have your friends doing things with you. Introducing first, one of the two best co-hosts in the world, the almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? Yeah, we're getting very close, fellas. You know what we're getting very close to?
What?
Leap year.
Well, that part too, we have an extra day of Black History Month. And also
one big old extra day. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm still taken back because of the fact that Sweet Baby Ray's, the barbecue sauce, that isn't us. I learned that during Black History Month. Rachel Dolezal, that tried to be one of us, has an OnlyFans account, got fired as a teacher.
True story.
That is true. That is 100% true. She has the OnlyFans account and got fired from she was an elementary school teacher. So a lot of things been happening during Black History Month. And yeah, it's been crazy. It's on the phone. He's got to look it up. Stay focused, man. Stay focused.
Yeah, stay focused, my brother. Stay focused. I am. I'm trying. You just kind of caught me off guard that one, Be Live. I just great mooded or shinskade my computer with coffee. So you got me there.
My bad.
Let's
see here.
Yeah, you got me with that one, man. I can't complain. So yeah, so here we are. And the other guy, he is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania. You should check him out on Twitter. He's giving you all kind of anecdotes, updates, and doing stuff for school because he's a cool-ass dude. The star of the Buzz television program. Hopefully they don't get you no heat, Scottie D. He is the one, the only, the money man, Scottie D.
So good. So good. I got a you. I don't know why, but I do feel good today.
Good.
I feel refreshed, relaxed, rested, strong and powerful, like Cam Newton at a flag football game. That's how strong and powerful I'm feeling.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Man,
he really is Superman. All those times he was pulling the thing, he really is Superman. He didn't even lose his hat, and he's taking on 7 guys. It was like ninjas coming at him, like in a ninja movie.
You're right, Scotty. His whole hat stayed on his head. It stayed on his head.
Did they not see the Josh Norman video? Like,
yeah. No. I mean, I might talk a lot of trash about Cam Newton, but I ain't going after him.
No.
Oh no.
He's Superman.
He still got it. Like I don't know why them little youngsters thought how the kids say it, F around and F
trying to find out.
Yeah, Fayfo. Yeah, Fayfo. Yeah, they for short Fayfo, and they're like, man, you know what, man, you can't run up on OG like that, man. OG. Here's the thing about it, man. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, what in the hell happened from when we were kids and we grew up to right now? Like, we have an athlete in front of us that we've seen play on TV that we admire, that we adore, and this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to see said athlete. And these fools want to fight him, and these kids get so much. They take so much pride in telling him, "You a bum, you washed up, you old."
Yeah, I never wanted to fight Roger Staubach when I was younger.
It's just no respect. Just no respect.
I don't know that we know the whole story yet. It kind of looked to me like he was more breaking up a fight and somehow got into it. I don't know. It's crazy kids. Those crazy kids.
It is like
but Cam's hat did not pop off.
I stayed there the whole time, just on there. I thought it was gonna be the first thing to go. But I'm telling you, man, yeah, look, it be like look like a bunch of grabbing and tussling. You know how it is when you're wrestling. You grabbing somebody. Do you grab that back leg and you just
a lot of furniture moving, as some people like to say. He drugged that one guy like, oh boy, it's gonna be tough to come back from that. But yeah, we digress.
Yeah, but we digress. I had to talk about that real quick before we went on. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top.
All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order.
So, as we round into the month of March, because February is damn near done with, as B-Live alluded to earlier, women's basketball, Caitlin Clark is inching closer to the all-time NCAA scoring record held by the one, the only, the legendary himself, Pistol Pete Maravich. Now, fellas, Pistol Pete's name gets thrown around a lot, and she's been talking about a lot as well, too, but a lot of people don't talk about him as much as we should. So we decided to do some research and opine about Pistol Pete Maravich and his importance to the game. With that being said, B-Live, I'll start with you first. Let's talk a little bit about Pistol Pete Maravich.
Well, here's the thing that I believe I mentioned the week prior when Caitlin Clark broke the women's record, that she had a chance to catch Pistol Pete. Mm-hmm. And just simply put, Pistol Pete's record was when freshmen weren't allowed to play. Mm-hmm. So Pistol Pete has this record that's been forever and ever a day where he scored 3,667 points in 3 seasons.
3.
Nobody's even caught him in 4. And the guy behind him right now played 5 seasons. I don't have his name, but I believe he played, because it just happened. It's COVID era, because that's how he got to play 5 seasons. Detroit Mercy, if I'm not mistaken. He's number 2 and played 5 seasons and couldn't catch Pistol Pete, because Pistol Pete averaged 44.2 points a game. That's insane. That's unheard of on any level of basketball. Like, he was that dominant on the court. Of course, everybody, like, this is still around the same era of your Wilt Chamberlain and his 100-point game, and the game was just, but Pistol Pete Maravich was just way, and I mean way, ahead of his time. But Caitlin Clark, she's the new. She is the face of college basketball, and I guarantee you she's gonna get all the hype when she moves up to the NBA level. And even to the point where her last game that she just had, she scored her 16th triple-double, which I don't think she's going to catch. I don't think she has a chance to catch the record holder, my future wifey, Sabrina Ionescu. I'm just saying,
you like her.
She looks good off the court, man. She might be a little young for me, but it is what it is. She grown. It is what it is. But this is such a wonderful time, especially for women's basketball. Like the era that we're in right now for women's basketball, outside of the Gamecocks being undefeated, is just a beautiful time to see. It is beautiful to see, because there's a couple sports I've always said that women should have just a little bit more recognition. Hey, women, females, ladies, go support your girls. Don't leave it upon us, because this is a time, if any, to celebrate women in basketball. And hey, do what it do. Caitlin Clark right now, I believe she sits 33. She sits 51 points behind Pete Maravich at this time. So
wow.
So she's gonna catch him. She's gonna catch him. And it's just one of those things. It wasn't done on the men's side. It was done on the women's side, that somebody caught the only Pistol Pete Maravich. Yes, sir.
Scottie D, tell us a little bit about the man from Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's from Aliquippa. He was born there, same as Tony Dorsett. That was his area too. Astounding numbers, because B-Live mentioned what was a 44.2 points per game, but he was also handing out 5.1 assists per game, and in his senior year at LSU, over 6. So he was really doing it all. He was a total package. Anyone want to guess how many 3-pointers he made?
It didn't exist.
There were no 3-pointers.
Nope.
He actually, if you go by my theory, he probably averaged more, because there was no 3-pointer to shoot, so he was just taking twos. But former LSU coach Dale Brown once charted every shot that Maravich shot and concluded that he would have averaged, or he 12 threes per game, which means his average would have been 57 points per game. Now, that's an inexact science, but just say it's close. Say he's in the ballpark. He'd have been averaging 50 a game in that neighborhood, because they said he's just pulling up, taking shots from all over the gym. He was shooting from everywhere. If you watch his old film, he really was just shooting the lights out, and he was ahead of his time as far as like the ball handling and the skills he displayed shooting the ball or with the assist. He was kind of like what was Jason Williams' nickname?
White Chocolate.
White Chocolate. He was kind of like the original White Chocolate. He was doing all that crazy stuff. And Caitlin Clark has a little bit of a flair for the dramatic, and God bless her for that, because honestly, if you're the casual sports fan, like I consider myself to be, I'm not always hardcore in every single sport, but I watch all sports. Can you think, if you say right now, who is the biggest name in college basketball, it's probably her over the men. I mean, there's more attention given to Caitlin Clark than anybody on the men's side. Mm-hmm. She's going to pass Pistol Pete, but I'm going to tell you, no man is ever going to do this. I just can't see that being done. Just for the simple fact that we're just now getting through the COVID era with the bonus year, and no one has done that. And typically, if you are that good where you have the skills to do that, you're not staying in college any longer. You're going to go to the NBA rather quickly. So this, on the men's side, looks to be like an untouchable record. And had he gotten credit for freshmen, and back then freshmen played against freshmen, I guess they had freshman games. Mm-hmm. He had another 741 points in his freshman year, which was another 43.6 per game. You got to believe he'd have had a pretty good amount of those points had he been playing on the what they call so-called varsity and college basketball. It was unfortunate for Pistol Pete that when he got to the NBA, his knee sort of gave out on him. I think he played only 10 years, long enough to have his number retired by multiple NBA teams. He was drafted by the Hawks, and then his number 44 was retired by Atlanta. And then the Jazz traded for him that time, the New Orleans Jazz, and they figured, we got a Louisiana guy, let's go get him. And they retired his number 7. He averaged 24.2 points per game in the NBA, and he actually did finish his career 10 of 15 from the 3-point line in the NBA. He finished his career, I think his last season was the first season of the NBA 3-point line. and he played with the Celtics. He got traded to the Celtics, made 10 to 13. Again, his bad knees betrayed him, and he was unable to really have much of an extensive career. And he died young. He had a heart defect and died at age 40, playing pickup basketball in 1988. But it's fun sometimes just to watch some of the old film, because guys, when we get into the discussion, who's the greatest basketball players of all time, it always starts with Jordan and LeBron, at least in this era. Those are the two guys that get talked to. And then you kind of go down the list, and Kareem and Magic and Bird, and you hear a lot of those things, but you usually don't hear Pistol Pete mentioned very much. I think a lot of that's due to the brevity of his NBA career, but his college career really was second to none. When you talk about college, you think of Lou Alcindor, Bill Walton, maybe Christian Laettner, but this guy's numbers with no three-point line and with no shot clock, meaning other teams could probably stall a little bit to keep him from getting the ball. With that old school game, this guy was phenomenal. 3-time All-America. And it's actually, I hope that as Caitlin Clark approaches this record and will pass him, that some of the attention that we're giving him today he'll get a little bit more of that on a national scale, that a lot more people will recognize the greatness that was Pistol Pete.
A few of his accolades: he was a 5-time NBA All-Star, 2-time NBA All NBA first team, 2-time NBA second team. He made the All Rookie team in '71, scoring champion in '77. He's on the 50th and 75th anniversary teams of the National Basketball Association. Scottie D mentioned his number were retired by 3 franchises: Hawks, Jazz, and the Pelicans. In 1970, he was the National Player of the Year in college basketball, a 3-time SEC Player of the Year, and he led the NCAA in scoring 3 times, and he is, as of right now, the Division I all-time scoring leader. And his jersey, of course, is retired by Louisiana State University. Listen, man, the thing about LSU, man, you got to look at LSU. LSU, they get a lot of great players. You got to think about it. Pistol Pete, Chris Jackson, who will be later known as Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, who was another scoring machine. And a name, Shaquille O'Neal. I was like, wait a minute, how in the hell can the big dude, the big ass starter, how you gonna forget my name, Eddy Cool? What the hell's wrong with you? I'm sorry, Shaq. My bad. Oh yeah. Oh, you think you're funny. You ain't cool. You hot. You lukewarm. Hey, calm down, Shaq. But yeah, I mean, just to think, Mike, LSU is a pretty good basketball school as well, too. And just like as you mentioned, well, as I mentioned before we recorded, Pistol Pete was, born in Alcoa, Pennsylvania, but he spent time in the Carolinas, where he played varsity high school basketball at Daniel High School in Central South Carolina, and he also played high school basketball in North Carolina as well, too. If I can find the college real quick, it escapes me. Oh, Broughton. Needham B. Broughton High School in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then he also went to Edwards Military Academy in Salem, North Carolina. And I had, it was fun just watching Pete Maravich. Pete was eclectic. He was a guy that he did his own thing. He wore those slouchy basketball socks, and then he had those shoes, and then he had he was kind of unkempt, but that didn't matter. He could ball his ass off. Yeah, Pete Maravich, man. It's sad to see that he passed at 40, man. I think if he was alive now, I think that this generation would appreciate him more, because if you look at the style of play that if you ask me, I think he was 50 years ahead of his time.
Sure.
I think he was.
No, absolutely.
He was 50 years ahead of his time. He was a glimpse into the future, because they said he was prophetic, so to speak. He's like, yeah, pretty soon you're going to see six. He said you're going to see 7 foot guards, and he said something. I'm like, wow, okay, he's talking about Wemby, and he's talking about these other players, and so yeah,
he was 6'5",
yeah,
which is probably considered big for a ball handler at that time.
Yeah, I think he said you'll be seeing guys like, I think from a height standpoint, you'll be seeing guys like Magic Johnson and Victor Wembanyama, and I'm like, you know what, damn, Pete, you saw into the future, and we didn't see it. So yeah. So here at the Sports Wars Podcast, we recognizing an OG, a legend, if you will, and Pistol Pete Maravich. All right, let's go ahead and keep the college hoops train going. This past weekend, Duke, Wake Forest. Wake Forest upset the top-ranked Blue Devils, and Scottie D's favorite college tradition, court storming. So let's just have a quick conversation about court storming. Scottie D, how do you feel about court storming?
It's ridiculous. It's got to stop at this point. I mean, we've come too far. This is twice this season. Speaking of Caitlin Clark, that we've seen a high profile player get involved. Now, we all kind of felt like Caitlin Clark exaggerated getting bumped by the fan, and we don't know the extent of Kyle Filipowski's knee injury. But he got bumped. He got hit. Either way, fortunate that this isn't worse, that somebody doesn't get knocked over and trampled on and really, really injured. And again, we I don't know what the extent is of Filipowski's injury. Maybe he is really injured, but he stated that he thought it was personal that the fan ran into him. I'm not 100% sure. I'm believing that just based on what I've seen in the film. It looked like the kid ran right through him without paying a whole lot of attention. I could be wrong. I don't know. I will tell you this: it's dumb. It's dumb. This used to be something that should have been reserved for like winning a championship kind of thing. Then you might want to. That's when you see like Valvano running through the crowd looking for somebody to hug, that kind of stuff. But for this to happen,
I love that moment.
February. I mean, I know it's a big win. I get it. And I was sitting there towards the end of the game, and it crossed my mind something like this could happen. I'm not going to say I predicted somebody getting hurt, but Caitlin Clark passed through my mind when I saw the kids jumping around at the end of this game. And then when they showed, I was like, man, I can't believe that just happened. They got to stop this. Because the kids are running down on the court. What are they doing? Just jumping around in circles. Go do that at a frat party. Be happy there later. You don't have to run down on the court and jump around in a circle like an idiot. I mean, I get it. I was a college kid once. I had a lot of fun, but we're past the point of doing this. We're not tearing down goalposts anymore. It's time to stop jumping on the court and knocking into players, especially ones that are valuable to their team. And even I believe the Wake Forest coach kind of chimed in on that as well. Be Live.
Yeah, what say you, Be Live?
Controlled environment. In a controlled environment. Because here is the tradition, the exuberance, the excitement. I don't want to take that away from a fan. And I mean, college sports is college sports for a reason, for that energy. We only get
I love it.
It's only 4 years, or 7 years or 9 years of our life, depending on how long it takes you to graduate or not graduate. But here's the thing:
just when you're in your 50s, then you're a college student, just for a very short time.
But here's the thing. I say controlled environment because I think schools should better prepare. Like there's always going to be a lot of excitement, and at any given point of time, every facility, especially basketball, football is a little bit. I mean, it's just a bigger area, and it's not as much like it's more controlled, but. You're looking at a tight space, people running full speed. That's exactly what happened. It wasn't personal. It wasn't intentional. Filipowski, I know you were injured, so I know you're angry. But just take a deep breath. It wasn't personal nor intentional. That guy wasn't trying to injure you. He was just super excited because guess what? Wake Forest and Duke are very close to each other. Like everybody says Duke, North Carolina is the rivalry. Duke, Wake Forest is also a rivalry. Duke, NC State, also a rivalry. NC State, North Carolina, of course, is a rivalry. The triangle region of college basketball is for real. And the thing about it is Wake Forest actually is in Winston-Salem, by the way. Don't ask. It is what it is. But there's actually a part of Wake Forest. There's this town called Wake Forest just outside of Raleigh, but Wake Forest is in Winston-Salem. But yes.
The hell?
Yeah, look it up. But the reason why I'm going to defend court storming is because my school, my beloved Clemson Tigers, is not a court, is not the court itself, but we storm every home game that Clemson wins, and I mean every home game, the fans storm the field. Every single one. It's a tradition. Every game that Clemson wins at home, the fans storm the field. And so I just feel like in a controlled environment, every college student should at least be able to experience that time with that school, being amongst the
You
players.
can't make it a controlled environment, though.
Yes,
You have to ask. You have to tell them, if you come down here on this court, you're getting kicked out of school, and there's a billion cameras, so we're gonna kick you out of school this semester.
Have couple more security guards. You see how the game is going. You should be preparing for that. That's what I'm saying. Controlled environment. Prepare for it just a little bit.
Yeah.
better.
So police yourself, kids. This is stupid. I mean, you say it's because of exuberance. There's not a more exuberant crowd in college basketball than Duke. You think Duke fans would have stormed the court if it had beat Wake Forest? I don't think so.
No.
Well, that's a whole nother situation within itself. That's another controlled environment because Duke's court is so small. Their excitement is already in the stands, so that they don't storm courts because also it's Duke. Come on, like this.
Yeah.
When it comes
when you're storming a court over a regular season win, and I know Wake Forest doesn't have the same program as Duke, but come on, come on, Wake.
Real quick, fellas. So I'm reading something online. The SEC has recently implemented, I don't know how old this article is, but I looked at some court storming stuff. They implemented a policy about court and field storming policies aiming to better control rowdy athletic event crowds. These policies double the fines for home teams. Yeah, these policies double the fine for home teams when the fans rush the playing service, and here's how it goes. The first time you do that mess, it's going to cost the university $100,000. The second time, $25,000. And the third time, $500,000. So if you wonder why you don't see any court storming or field storming in the SEC, big old chunks of money are taking out. I think court storming is a cool tradition, but when it comes, you just have to, I think you just have to beef up security. If you see you know your rivalry games, you know what they can bring, the potential of mess it could bring. Have the wherewithal before the season. Hey, look, circle this date on the calendar, this date on the calendar, this date on the calendar. I mean, if you're Iowa, I don't know, playing, Iowa State, yeah. But if you're Iowa playing, I don't know, Detroit Mercy or whatever, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? But you just have to be better when it comes to, in the words of Scottie D, do better when it comes to security. And it's just, I see it from all standpoints.
And not only that, quit doing it.
No.
Quit it.
No.
It's old.
I think it should be just like in a controlled environment. Like, okay, we know what's going on. Maybe
Eddy, cool. I just got it. I just realized it.
What you just
Scottie D wants everything. He wants everything to stop because it's getting old. You know why everything's old to you, Scott? Because you're old. You've seen it longer than I have. You've seen it longer than Eddy Cool has. That's why you don't want to see anything happen anymore. Oh,
sometimes
is this going on forever?
Old, and it's time to stop doing them. How often do you hear "We Will Rock You" in your stadiums anymore? Not very often.
Oh my God.
You and the thing about it, some things get old, just like Scottie D fat shaming me before the show started. My mom got me a nice little present, and this fool had the nerve to say that it took 2 to 3 people to carry my hoodie to deliver it to me. He said it. I'm so sick. I'm sick of this.
I didn't say that.
No, you backtrack now. No, I'm sick of this, man. My feelings hurt. You thought I wasn't gonna call you out on the air, Eddy Cool. This is staying in. This is staying in this. Don't you edit this out? I do. No, yeah,
I didn't fat shame you.
Oh yeah, you thought you was gonna get away with it.
6'9", so you need a bigger sweatshirt. So I said, it's probably a big package.
I'm not gonna have it. No,
I didn't fat shame you.
Yeah, he said that I have never been more fat shamed in my life. Two to 3 people to carry my hoodie. sports mama, that Scottie D said that about your baby boy.
I didn't say that.
Thank you, Mom, for the present. I greatly appreciate
That's
it.
it was a great gift.
It did not take extra packaging. It did not cost more because yes, it's a little bit bigger than a large. No, I'm sick of it. He cool that like he just thought he was gonna get away with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next on the Sports Bros podcast, ESPN's Mike Greenberg had some interesting things to say about college football coaches. Stay tuned if we have a damn podcast to the Sports Bros podcast. Y'all gonna kill each other before it's all said and done. I told y'all I can't do this by myself. We'll be right back. Back at you here again on the Sports Bros podcast. Eddy Cool, B Live, Scottie D, and we're still talking in the world of college athletics. But this time we're talking about college football. Now, ESPN's very own Mike Greenberg has some choice words to say about college coaches and taking jobs, and then he just had a lot to say. So he pretty much just, if I can find it real quick, he pretty much says he doesn't want to hear anything about coaches and leaving jobs and everything, and people should be doing this, they should be doing that. And he said 2018, 21 coaches were hired in Division One. And how many of those remain today at the school where they were hired at? He said there's one. So, you know, like a lot of kids catch a lot of heat for starting at one place and finishing another. And then like a lot of coaches, they'll start one place and finish at another. And so he was like, you can miss me with all of that. And Scottie D, I'm just giving you the floor. What do you think about what Mike Greenberg is opining on, and what do you feel about it?
Well, he created a rant where he said, I don't want to hear any coaches crying about loyalty whenever you're going to other schools. Who's he talking to? That loyalty argument is it's been well established. There's no loyalty in sports. It's all about dollars and cents. So who's he throwing this rant at? And for him to be out there saying, miss me with that argument, that's forced and phony. Just shut your face, little whiny Greenberg. That was a terrible rant. He's trying to give us a soapbox rant. He sounded silly because he's comparing apples and oranges, because the coaching profession has always been just that, a profession. And now college kids are able to jump around. And you know what? It has ruined college football. College football is a mess on very many levels. Actually, I'm wrong. It didn't ruin it. A lot of things ruin college football. College football is shambles right now. And this is just another step as making college football not as great a product as it used to be. So I don't have a whole lot on that other than Greenberg. Come on, man. Just you sound just whiny. Wellness Check Wednesdays. What do you got on this?
Jesus. Way to throw me off. Now I golly. You had all this time. Now I gotta go in here, I gotta rename while we're on the air. We could have corrected this. Oh my Lord!
All right, so while you do that, be live.
No. I got the floor. Okay. I got this. Yeah,
I was gonna buy you some time.
No, that's all right. I got this. When it comes to Greenberg and what he said about coaches jumping ship and there's no loyalty in college football, let's start here. The domino has already fallen, and NCAA, college football leadership, they had no idea what they were creating when the first domino started to fall. When we saw that the millions and millions of dollars that these universities were making on the backs of these college football players, and that it wasn't evenly spread out and all of this. And then it became college football in essence started becoming in. Scottie D, you said one word that stuck out to me when you said that college coaching is a profession. Now college football players are on that level. And what has happened, and you're absolutely right when it comes to ruining college football, is that now it is literally chasing the dollar. The dollars keep rising because the revenue, the TV contracts keep going higher and higher and higher, and my cable bill keeps going higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
So it's nobody's forward thinking. Not one single person. They've been reactionary this entire time. So when Greenberg was like, miss me with this, you're not forward thinking. I've been saying that when the first domino fell with coaches being able to just up and jump ship and nobody. You remember this? This was a few years ago. I know I said it on this program where I said that coaches needed to honor their contracts. They sign these contracts, and then next thing you know, poof, buyout, this, that, and blah, blah, blah. Now, coaches being fired, that's a whole nother situation. If you're terrible at your job, yes, you got to go.
Yeah, you got to
But
get
for
out of
coaches, coaches that sign a contract saying, "Hey, I'm going to get paid X for X amount of years." What's happening right now is that your long tenured coaches, they're the ones that are feeling the burn on this. Nick Saban said, "I'm done." And Nick Saban has said clear as day, the reason why he's done with college football, the reason why he retired, wasn't because he was tired of the game itself. He's tired of all the changes. He was tired of NIL. He was tired of the transfer portal. There are no checks and balances when it comes to the transfer portal or NIL. Like there should be something in place that is not all. Even NBA professional player, I mean not NBA, but NFL professional players, they can't just jump ship on their like. If they sign a 3 or 4 year deal, they have to go through a 3 or 4 year deal or get bought out, or et cetera, et cetera. Why do college players just, 1 year? Yep, I'm going here. Oh, next year, I'm going here. No checks and balances. It's all, the conglomerate is bad. So Greenberg just firing off on coaches, that was just wrong. This is 100% on the leadership of the NCAA and the college football playoff, because they're two different entities.
Miss us with that, Greenberg.
That's the problem. If you want to rant and rave on the leadership, just say, oh, you know what? To appease everybody, now there's the transfer portal. We're gonna loosen up the transfer portal. Name, image, and likeness. You can make all this money by your name, image, and likeness, which is not happening because players are now just making money because this conglomerate says, oh, come to our school, we'll pay you this much for your name, image. I could go on for days.
Maybe it's time to make college players sign contracts.
I'm for that. I'm absolutely for that.
Yeah. Since
players, coaches, everybody needs either you need to completely honor it or have the mess that we're having right now. Something's got to change. And so coaches like Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, they said this. Even my Georgia coach,
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart said the same thing. He's like, dude, there's some coaches out there taking advantage, but they're like, this is unsustainable. It is unsustainable. Somebody's got to grab a hold of it and do something.
Yes, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, the head coach of Boston College left the college game to take a coordinator position in the NFL. I mean, how often have we seen that in the past where head coaches leave not to take a head coach position, but to take a coordinator position? Well, because now he has to worry about recruiting his own players. The guy has to recruit guys on his own roster to stay, as well as try to get other guys in. And recruiting high school is useless at this point because now you just recruit other teams already good players. I mean, a college game's a mess. So.
I like the way you said. I like the way you said recruit. You meant pay. You didn't mean recruit. You meant pay.
Pay.
You're not recruiting these guys anymore. You're paying them.
But yeah, you're right. You are paying for services, and real quick before we move on to the next segment on our show, it's at the point now, like you said, it looked good at first, but now there has to be a checks and balancing system, and the NCAA, they're not the best of doing anything. the checker pass they have. First of all, give Reggie Bush his damn Heisman back. And number two, establish something with this doggone transfer portal. Because like you just said, Scottie D, the head coach took a coordinator job. Where we're from, we call that hustling backwards. Ain't you supposed? Don't you want to work your way up to eventually get the coaching job instead of taking a step down? Man, but could you say that's an effect from the transfer portal? Because now, like you said, there's more stress on the coach to get more talent in, to recruit more talent in. And the thing about it is, you think you got them for 3 years, but they play 1 year and then they get the hell on. So it's just a big old convoluted mess. And so Mike Greenberg was like, miss me when I'm like, no, bro. You have to look at the whole totality of it all. It's the wild, wild west. Kirby Smart, Dabo, and Saban said, hey, man, this thing is crazy. And Nick Saban said, hey, man, I'll just go sit in the office and tell y'all what to do and let y'all figure it out. But, fellas, looking at my watch, guess what time it is?
We took up a lot of time before, so we're going to have to kick it in gear. And that's what the clock says.
Oh, it's time for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. And with that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it. Choices of the voices coming at you right now on the Sports Bros Podcast. Are you ready? 3,
Yep.
2, 1.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful land, the baby sleeping ever so lovely Miss Button, for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. We ask y'all a question, y'all give us answers. If y'all give us essays, the essays will be broken down and bullet points only, and that's it. With that being said, Scottie D, what's on tap for the choices of the voices?
We asked to have you all share with us some of your favorite sports records. Not necessarily the one you thought was most unbreakable, just one you liked. We got a little bit of both there, Eddy. Cool.
All right,
what do people say?
All right, with that being said, our Hall of Famer Uncle Maxie says Jerry Rice owns many records to date. I doubt anyone will eclipse 22,895 yards receiving during his career. I don't think so. And even with this being a passing league, I don't think so either, Uncle Max. I do not. Tom Winner Chicken Dinner Win, he says Cy Young's 511 wins, followed by Joe DiMaggio's 56 games hitting streak. Gonna be tough to break. I think somebody mentioned that like 200 wins is the standard now.
Yeah,
that's real damn low. Brad Thomas. Oh, we got a new name. Brad Thomas. What's up, Brad Thomas? Tiger's scoring record being ranked number 1 will never be sniffed. Not a record, but we'll never see a 300-game winner anymore. Brad was the one that said it. 200 is sadly the new bar. We're talking about baseball wins, all right? Mark Olsey says supposedly there is no proof that he actually scored 100 points in this other than his photo, referring to Wilt Chamberlain's photo that Scottie D posted. Look into it if you want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, Wilt scored 100 in a game. I mean, there were people there. It's not like I mean, nobody saw Abraham Lincoln get assassinated either. Yeah, we know that happened. So the guys that were playing on the court against Wilt have talked about that game. So just it wasn't recorded on television. So I guess that's the rabbit hole of no proof, but Wilt scored a hundo. There's the sign.
Yeah,
it.
I'll tell you what did happen. I'll tell you what did happen. That imaginary that tournament for the Intercontinental title in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where Pat Patterson became the first Intercontinental champion. They said that was completely made up. That's
okay.
Yeah, they said that was completely made up. All right. MJ Markley. Seen a lot of new names. Love it. Don't know about going down this rabbit hole either, but Bond's record will never be broken. Probably not, man.
That one might be out of reach as well.
Yeah, probably not. Might be 100 years.
Especially because now there's steroid testing.
Yeah. One thing you better be drinking is orange juice. All right. Scott Heinerman says Cal Ripken's his Ironman streak. That probably won't be broken either. Let's see. Will Georgia, he said Scott Skiles with 30 assists. Yeah,
that's a good one there, because that's not one you hear a lot about often, but that's a big number, 30 assists in a game.
Damn, that's a whole lot. That's a
Gritty,
whole lot.
gutty, Scotty Skiles.
Yeah, good old Scott Skiles, former coach Scott Skiles. All right. Trey Dizzle. Lord have mercy, Jesus. The most unbreakable record in sports history, the fastest touchdown ever to score to start an NFL game. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Eagles, and Bill Parcells told the special teams to watch out for the onside kick to start the game. And sure enough, the Eagles kicked an onside kick to start the game, and Randall Williams returned it for a touchdown in 3 seconds. There's no way there will ever be a touchdown faster than 3 seconds to start a game ever in history. Sean Connors, he says, Mike Tyson with one eaten ear. Yep, he can have that one. Yep, he can have that one. Yeah, I heard they don't digest well, kind of like corn. The best name in the game, JoJo Comfort says. That's a good, damn it. You get a gold star for that one, Sean Connors. I ain't got nothing to give you. I got to give you something for that one, man. The best name in the game, JoJo Comfort says. 2 come to mind. Ricky Henderson's stolen base is absolutely unapproachable. Calling that hot girl at the club. But anyways, we'll be lucky to see a player reach 800 steals, let alone Ricky's 1,400 plus. Staying on the unapproachable, I also see Wayne Gretzky's assist record of 2,200 plus. Scoring regular season and playoffs combined, not being broken. That's goals and assists. Truly an amazing part of his stats is that if you take away 1,000 goals, he's still the NHL's all-time leading scorer. Damn, so he has that lead by that much.
Yeah,
wow.
That's crazy.
And I think Mark Old, he messed around and gave us a daily double. Another one, he said Pete Rose. Yeah, Pete Rose is all-time hits. And Craig Burns, what's up, Craig? He said the one and only, Evel Knievel. During his career, Knievel may have suffered more than 433 bone fractures, earning an entry in the Guinness Book of World Records as the survivor of the most broken bones of a lifetime. That record will never be broken. Craig Burns and Sean Connor, hey, you guys get replies of the week. Those are hilarious. All right, Scottie D.
Good answers there. Very, very good answers. And it's amazing to think of how many of these, when we really think about, just don't seem like they seem so far out of reach. Like at one point, does the records actually come back into play? Like we thought Pistol Pete never was going to be touched with his scoring record, and we still don't think in a 3 or 4 year setting that it will. But I'm going to give you my answer, but I wanted to tell you two that are very close to my heart. One is Emmitt Smith, the all-time rushing record, 18,355 yards. That's one that maybe someone will top, but the game will have to change at some point because people aren't getting the ball right now 30 times a game like they were back when Walter Payton and Eric Dickerson and Emmett were carrying the ball. You see a lot more split carries and a lot more passing now. So if the game evolves back into more of a running style game, which could happen at some point, then that, that might be one, but that's really high as well. And Tony Dorsett for the Cowboys running 99.5 yards with only 10 guys on the offensive side of the ball. That's an unbreakable one. You can't run more than 99.5 yards.
That's all you can do.
But if you, to me, the one that I absolutely love, because I am such a fan of the stolen bases in baseball, is Ricky Henderson's both individual season record and overall record. 3 times he went over 100, but in 1982 he had 130. Now, basically, the stolen base leaders in baseball the last several years have been 40, 50. Last year, Esty Ruiz had 67 for the A's. That's 2 seasons worth to catch Ricky's 1 season, and plus Ricky's longevity. Early in his career, if you walked him, you were basically giving up a double. You just couldn't stop the guy from swiping bases. And now the pitchers have the slide step and all that stuff, and it's just more geared to stopping that at this point. So if anybody ever even gets close to 100 again, that'll be quite an accomplishment. But Ricky Henderson in 1982, 130 and 1,406 in his career. Good luck with that one, guys. Be live.
Scottie D. You robbed me.
Uh-oh.
You stole it from me, just like Ricky Henderson stole all those bases.
With them big old thighs. Watch out now. Here come Ricky.
It's unheard of. The fact that 1,406 career stolen bases. You know who is the closest that is active right now?
Who?
Elvis Andrews with 347.
And he been playing for 40. And
And
he been
he's
playing for
close
40
to the
years,
end of
ain't
his
he?
career. Yeah.
He been playing for 40 years, ain't he?
I was like,
what the hell?
it will never ever happen. And it was one of those things where you were watching these games, you were watching it, and you just knew he was gone. Like
Yeah.
it's like I think Cat Williams said it best in one of his stand-ups where like I guess his one of his children or whatever, and like all they could think of was running. You either saw him doing this or this. Like just that was Ricky Henderson. Like just give up, just give it up. Like he's on first. Nope, he's on second. It's over with. Nope, he's already on third. Oh, I breathed again. He's still home. I want to look up. I'm gonna look off the air because time constraints. I wonder how many times he stole home, because you know he had to at some point in time.
Mm.
But yeah, that record is not going to get touched, and it was also one of my favorites because Ronald Acuna last year 40-70, phenomenal year, and I just love the art of stealing a base of baseball. It's like the catcher trying to throw him down and just no, you don't have a chance, brother. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Ricky Henderson, definitely the very best to ever do it. Yes, sir.
Yep. And speaking of records, man, I'm just gonna say in the realm of baseball because there's something about baseball where these records are just etched. I forgot where I saw the other day. This is not one of my this is not one I'm choosing, but I remember I saw it a few days back. I think Bob Gibson's first 11 starts, he only allowed 2 runs and struck out everybody. I was like, I've heard about Bob Gibson, but to your first, I think it was first 19 starts or something like that. I'm like, to strike out to play, to play it, the many innings he played, strike out and only allow 2 runs. 2. Yeah, you are the president and founder of the BDI, Bad Dude Incorporated. That is your team. I'm gonna say Joe DiMaggio, man. 56 game hitting streak. As we know, because I'm pretty sure we've all tried to hit a baseball, and we know how hard that is. Extremely hard. Be it a fast pitch softball or slow ass softball or just knocking it off the damn tee. It requires a level of focus. That's why I have the utmost respect for baseball players, and that's why they get paid all the big bucks, especially Ohtani Shohei, who'll be debuting for the Dodgers playing train pretty soon. Fellas, do you know the closest 3 players to ever to get like close to Joe DiMaggio's 56 inning game record?
I think Pete Rose had 44, and I think that was the closest since that's happened.
All right, so there's that one. Then I got a few more names too. Jimmy Rollins, he had 38 consecutive. I remember Luis Castillo in 2002. Both of them had 35 game hitting streaks. You can't. It's just one of those records. Like somebody gonna get close to it, but that might be the most record that'll stand the test of time between that and Wayne Gretzky's. What did JoJo Comfort say? If you drop off 1,000 goals, he still got the all-time record. The hell is going on here? I mean, I don't care how close Ovechkin is, it just ain't gonna happen. So shout out to everybody for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. Scottie D, what's on Tickety Tap for next week?
Well, I think earlier in the show we concluded that court storming is a terrible tradition. That was the general consensus that we came. We were going to ask you next week. Yeah, we're going to ask you next week to name off some other traditions that you would like to see go away, whether it's something players do or fans do, something in sports, traditions you want to go away, like court storming. And that'll give us something to talk about next week, Eddie. Cool.
We did not consent to that for our listeners. Not one bit. That's just Scottie D being old again.
Hashtag who is we? I'm trying to make a hashtag, fellas, but it looks bad. Looks like I'm about to break my fingers.
General consensus of the show. Court storming is bad.
Coming up next, be live. Grab that grinder. Scottie D, cover your nose because it's about to be time for a round of pepper. Coming up right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
All right, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get the hell up out of here. But before we go, a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really here to engage, enlighten, educate, and entertain. And I will go first. On this day in history, back in 1959, Bob Cousy sets an NBA record with 28 assists as the Celtics score 173 points against the Minneapolis Lakers. And that has been broken since, has been brought to our attention in Choice Little Voices. Scott Skiles breaks that by 2 by having 30 assists. Yeah, so sharing is caring. Over to you, Scottie D.
I like to tie in there. Well, Major League Baseball is getting ready to get underway here. We're into training camp, spring training, I should say, and they have a pants problem. In an effort to provide players with uniforms with stretchier, lighter feel, Nike and Major League Baseball has provided players with pants that don't provide much privacy. And speaking of privates, San Francisco Giants, Casey Schmidt said that in his photo shoot, his lower region could be seen. So player executive Tony Clark is not happy. He said it's disappointing that this is the topic of the spring right now. Surely somebody from Nike could have figured out you can see through these pants before putting them on an entire sports organization. Nike's new logo new slogan going from just do it to just do better. Be live. Over to you.
I love it.
Oh, Nike is struggling. They lose Tiger, and now they got a see-through situational.
Going junk.
Well, speaking of, I'm gonna switch over to golf and figure it's the best way to segue. Well, there's always been the controversy of live golfers and not being able to qualify for majors and stuff like that because of the world rankings and points and blah, blah, blah. Well, finally, I'm just kidding, not saying finally, but congratulations to Live Golf's very own Joaquin Niemann, where he got invited to the Masters this year. And this was after he won the Australian Open, and the Masters committee was like, you know what? Normally we don't normally do this, but if you're showing at the Australian Open, we're going to be like, hey, come play golf at the Masters. I know you don't have enough points to qualify. We're going to make a special exemption for you. Outstanding job. So when you're saying there is a chance, Joaquin Niemann, come on and try to get that green jacket. Eddy Cool, the ball.
I got a very interesting story for you here, fellas. This is in the world of pro wrestling, but it doesn't involve anything in the ring. It involves a certain structure. All right, so of course the Elimination Chamber took place in Perth, Australia at 5 o'clock Saturday morning. And dig this, fellas. Did you know that the Chamber damn near did not make it to Perth, Australia? And I'm pretty sure you're wondering why. And I'm going to tell you why. During the Elimination Chamber's excursion, aquatic excursion through the Suez Canal, pirates almost hijacked the darn boat, and there was almost going to be no elimination chamber. All right, so Michael Cole let everybody know that, according to Beach Report, that the pirate he divulged Friday that pirates occupying the Suez Canal, which is in Egypt, because I thought it was in South America, but it's in Egypt, which makes sense. Caused a delay in the WWE shipping the chamber structure to Perth, Australia for Saturday's Elimination Premium Live event. So here's what they had to do. They had to make a U-turn, bring it back to Miami, put it on a truck, have it being drove all the way to LA, and then transported by ship from the coast of California before finally arriving to Perth by train. So you got 1 month to get that thing over there, but you damn near got hijacked by the pirates. If I'm creative, somebody go find pirate Paul Burchill. This is an opportune time. Over to you, Scottie D.
I'm really hoping for a good year from the Pirates here. Let's go
It's got to
Bucks.
be the world's longest detour.
God, is it ever? Is it ever?
I have never heard of a detour that across the Atlantic Ocean,
Yeah.
through the Mediterranean Sea.
See.
Nope, can't make it back through the Mediterranean, back across the Atlantic, Miami to LA, across the Pacific. Man.
The world's most expensive U-turn. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, so last year we watched the Johnny Manziel documentary. I remember telling you guys I felt like we didn't really get much as far as closure or anything good that came of it. But now he's on Shannon Sharp's latest Club Shay Shay podcast, and he is expressing remorse for how he treated Joe Thomas, the Browns, and LeBron James in his time in Cleveland. He's saying that he is now on the right path. In the last 3 months of his life, he's never been happier or more humble, and I hope he's right. Johnny Manziel, hopefully we get a better documentary on you next time where you stick to your word this time. Be Live, over to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I'm going to take it to the NBA real quick because there was a little bit of controversy where they were talk about how you have to have at least 65 games to qualify for league awards at the end of the season. And Joel Embiid got hurt and wasn't going to be able to qualify for the MVP situational. Well, somebody decided, well, if Joel Embiid can't win it, I'm going to go ahead and grab this from you real quick. Because since then, Nikola Jokic, since then, this past week, yesterday, he had 32 points, 16 rebounds, and 16 assists, a triple-double of massive proportions to beat the Warriors. Since the Embiid injury, Jokic has only been averaging 27 points, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists.
Ooh.
He's been averaging 27, 16, and 15. He's like, I'm going to go ahead and grab that MVP from everybody. They just forgot who I was. Eddy Cool, the ball.
And speaking of the Golden State Warriors and the association, Golden State Warriors make Steve Kerr the highest paid coach in NBA history, all right? According to CNN, the Golden State Warriors have made Steve Kerr the highest annually paid coach in NBA history. The Warriors coach and Kerr have agreed to a record 2-year contract worth $35 million extension this past Friday. That's a lot of money. And deservedly so. He's a 4-time NBA winning coach, and his contract was set to expire at the end of the season. And Kerr's new deal aligns with Steph Curry's contract. The 2-time NBA MVP has 2 years remaining on his. The 58-year-old in his 10th season with the franchise has compiled a record of 502 wins, 264 losses, and a 99-41 record in the postseason. Yeah, man, get a man his money. Over to you, Scottie D.
For 3 weeks in a row now, I've heard a live golfer crying about not being able to play in majors and PGA events. John Rahm, Patrick Reed, and Bryson DeChambeau. And you know what, guys? I want to be able to eat chocolate cookies and not get fat. It doesn't work that way. You know what happens. You took the live money. Quiet down over there. I'm going to be watching the PGA. Be Live. Say yes, sir, and let's go home.
I got one last point.
Okay.
One last point. All right. And for those that may be watching or whatever, I was a little bit distracted earlier in the program. Sorry, Pat McAfee. But I just secured tickets. Your boy's going to Williams-Brice this summer, August 3rd. And I'm going to wear something Clemson. I'm going to wear something orange for the Liverpool-Manchester United matchup here in the United States in Columbia, South Carolina. Go soccer. I hate that it's going to be in Williams-Brice, but your boy's going to be wearing orange, and he's going to be wearing red for Liverpool. Let's get it. Let's go, man. I get to see my first live soccer match at Williams-Brice Stadium, August 3rd, Columbia. I'm headed your way. Yes, sir.
Watch your mouth and don't get beat up. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can do something nice for someone else, they'll greatly appreciate it. Now, more than ever, be a blessing, not a burden. This is your favorite sports podcast, the Sports Bowls Podcast. Take us on, Be Live.
Yes, sir.
Rate, review, subscribe. Thank you. We love you. And see you next week right here on the Sports Bros Podcast. WWE called Paul Burchill. Bring back the pirate gimmick. Great time. And we out.
I'm going to the gym.
Oh, me too. I'm going tomorrow.
I gotta lose some weight after this episode.
Bye, y'all. See y'all later.
Hey, it's Eddie Cool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. Thank you for listening, and as always, continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Just click the link in the description box and keep up with the Sports Bros Podcast. And once again, thanks for listening.